Egg. Egg. Mother's calling for you, Egg.
First stop by a stream. Dunk pulled off his boot. The foot was swollen. Egg came over without a word, scooped water, washed the wound, not asking, not waiting to be told.
Not necessary.
I am your squire, sir. This is my work.
You are a prince.
I am your squire, sir.
Egg repeated, and kept washing the wound. Dunk did not argue, because he knew Egg would not back down. This boy had chosen to walk beside a hedge knight from Flea Bottom instead of living in a palace, and Dunk still did not understand why. Night on the road. A campfire. Darkness all around, and stars overhead. Dunk lay on his back, staring up. Egg sat beside him, tossing sticks into the fire. "Sir?" "What?" "Do you truly not know who your parents are?" Dunk was quiet, then said, "No, grew up in Flea Bottom, ate what I could find, slept wherever, until Sir Arlen took me, and I was no one." Egg stared into the fire. "I grew up in the Red Keep, maesters, servants, the finest food, a soft bed every night." "And did it help?" Egg smiled quietly. "No." He paused, then said, "Ordinary boys fight with wooden swords too, only their swords are sticks and broken branches." Dunk looked at him. A prince who knows how common children live. He had never met anyone like that. "You know, Egg, you are a strange prince, and you are a strange knight, sir." "Why?" "Because you are the only knight I have met who actually behaves like a real knight." Dunk said nothing, was quiet for a long time. Then Egg said, "When I grow up, I want common people to live better. They do not deserve what is done to them." "You are a squire, Egg, not a king." "For now." Dunk smirked. "A squire who wants to change the world. What next?" Egg did not smile, just stared into the fire. Dunk remembered. Money ran out fast. A hedge knight without a lord is a vagrant with a sword. Dunk needed work. They came to Standfast, a tiny castle, more of a tower. Sir Eustace Osgrey, its master, an old man without lands, without glory, with a handful of peasants and memories of the past. He had once fought for the Blackfires, for the Black Dragon at the Red Grass Field. Lost everything. Now he sat in his tower and told stories about the days when he was someone. Dunk became his sworn sword. Not for money, there was barely any, for a roof over his head. Ser Bennis of the Brown Shield, another sworn sword of Eustace, vile, filthy, rotten teeth, always chewing sour leaf. He called Eustace Sir Useless, called Dunk the Lunk, treated everyone as if the world owed him something. The drought. The Chequy water, the stream that fed Eustace's lands, ran dry. Dunk and Bennis rode to check. Found a dam, built on the orders of Lady Rohan Weber of Coldmoat. The Red Widow, they called her. red hair and a spider sigil. The workers refused to break the dam. Bennis did not bother talking, rode up and slashed one of them across the cheek with his sword, unarmed, just because. Dunk stood and watched, helpless, furious. There it was, the thing he hated most in the world. A knight who strikes a man who cannot fight back. Eustace found out, and knew Rohan would not forgive. Ordered levies raised, train the peasants, prepare for war. Dunk and Bennis went through 3 villages, gathered 8 men. 8 old men and boys. Some held a spear for the first time in their lives. Against Coldmoat's 15 knights, this was not an army. This was a funeral. Egg suggested, use his father's ring, send for help. Dunk refused. Egg's identity had to stay secret. Eustace sent Dunk to Coldmoat, to Lady Weber, to negotiate, or at least try. Dunk expected an old, hard woman. Instead, a young beauty with red hair and a sharp tongue. Rohan Weber. Widowed 5 times, every husband died. People whispered, a curse. By her father's will, if she did not marry by a certain date, she would lose all her lands. Dunk stood before her, enormous, awkward, and blurted out that she was beautiful. Rohan raised an eyebrow, smirked. Dunk turned red, did not know what to do with his hands. Egg could barely contain his laughter. Negotiation failed. Rohan would not remove the dam, and she demanded Bennis be handed over for cutting her man. But before Dunk left, she told him something. Eustace Osgrey, the man Dunk had sworn to serve, was a traitor. He fought for Daemon Blackfire, for the Black Dragon, against the rightful king, and for that, he lost nearly all his lands. Eustace had said nothing about this, not a word. Dunk returned to Standfast, went to Eustace, asked him straight, "Is it true?" Eustace did not deny it, told him everything, how he believed in Daemon, how he fought for him, how he lost his sons at the red grass field. Dunk listened and felt the ground shifting beneath his feet. He had sworn to a rebel, served a traitor, decided in the morning they would leave. But that night, the sky turned red. Eustace's woods were burning. Rohan's people set the fire, flames eating the trees, the only wealth the old man had left. Eustace and Bennis wanted to strike back, burn Rohan's mill, fire for fire. In the morning, Dunk saw Bennis, beating the 8 peasants in the yard with a stick, screaming at them. These people, who had asked for none of this, were about to die for someone else's quarrel. Dunk decided. He sent the levies home, told them, "Go, this is not your war." Then, Dunk, Egg, and Eustace rode to the river themselves, met Rohan and her knights on the other bank. 2 banks, 2 prides. But no blood was spilled. The conflict ended differently. Eustace and Rohan married. The old rebel and the young widow. Lands united. Water flowed to both. Bennis fled that same night, robbed Eustace, took everything he could carry, and vanished like a rat. Before leaving, Rohan told Dunk, "I have not seen a more worthy knight in the 7 kingdoms than you, Sir Duncan," and kissed him goodbye and gave him a lock of her hair. Dunk kept it for the rest of his life. Dunk and Egg left Standfast, alone again, the road again. But Dunk was different now. He had learned that not all knights deserve an oath. that honest men hide dark pasts, and that the only thing worth trusting is the person beside you. They rode north. Lord Baron Stark was calling for swords. Dagon Greyjoy's Ironborn were raiding the coast. Work for a hedge knight. Money they needed. On the road from Stony Sept, they saw a head on a spike. A Septon, beheaded for preaching against the hand of the king. Bloodraven did not forgive. Egg said, "Traitors are executed. That is the law." Dunk looked at the head, said nothing. Law is one thing, justice another. Dunk could not always explain the difference, but he felt it. Then they met a company on the road. Lord Gorman Peake, arrogant, cold, Lord Alan Cockshaw, and a young knight, Sir John the Fiddler, charming, full of smiles. He looked at Dunk, at his size, at his sword, and invited him to a wedding tourney at Whitewalls. The prize? A dragon egg. Egg was suspicious immediately, told Dunk quietly, "Many of these lords once supported the Blackfires, Costaines, Shawnees, Peake. He did not trust a single one of them." But Dunk wanted the tourney, wanted to prove himself, wanted money. On the road, Egg mentioned casually, "By the way, I have a dragon egg too. I was given one at birth. It is at Summerhall." Dunk stared. "You never told me that." "You never asked, sir." Dunk shook his head. Every day, this boy managed to surprise him. Whitewalls. A wedding, a feast, music and wine. Dunk sat at the table thinking, finally, decent food. Tourney tomorrow. Maybe he would get lucky. Sir John the Fiddler, the man who invited them here, sat at the head of the table, smiling, joking, playing the fiddle. Everyone loved him. Then, Dunk started noticing. Whispers around corners, glances that stopped the moment he turned his head. Gorman Peake, cold, arrogant, looking at Dunk as though he were already dead. Egg noticed first, as always, said quietly, "Something is wrong here. These people, Blackfire men, every one of them." Dunk did not want to believe it. He wanted the tourney, wanted money, wanted, just once, for things to be simple. Nothing is ever simple. Sir John the Fiddler was not who he claimed to be. Behind the pretty smile, a different man. Daemon Blackfire, son of a rebel, heir to an old war. And this whole wedding, this whole feast, was a cover. They had gathered to crown a new black dragon, and Dunk, with his own hands, had brought Egg here. A prince, right into their nest. In one moment, Egg vanished. Dunk searched the castle, asked servants and guests, had anyone seen a bald boy? Only when he reached the Sept did he finally find him. Egg stood there beside Lord Butterwell and Lord Frey. Egg had revealed himself, said, "I am Aegon Targaryen, son of Prince Maekar, and my father already knows about your conspiracy. His army is on its way." It was a lie. There was no army. Maekar knew nothing. But a 12-year-old boy said it so convincingly that both lords believed him. Frey walked out of the castle and never came back. Butterwell shook with fear. And then Black Tom Heddle burst in, Butterwell's son-in-law, saw the boy and reached for him, to seize him, to take him. Butterwell tried to stop him. The boy must not be touched. But Heddle would not listen. Dunk did not let him finish. The blade went in before anyone could blink. Heddle fell, dead. Butterwell said, "We need to run," through the postern gate in the north wall, before Gorman Peak finds out. Dunk told Egg, "Go with Butterwell. Ride for Maidenpool. Do not stay with him longer than you must. He may switch sides again." Dunk embraced Egg, tightly. Egg looked at him. "And you, sir?" "I will buy you time." Dunk went back, alone, into a hall full of conspirators, stood before Daemon and called him by his real name, in front of everyone. Accused Gorman Peak of falsely framing Sir Glendon Ball, an honest knight who had been seized and tortured for a theft he did not commit. Daemon could have killed Dunk on the spot. Instead, he agreed to a trial by combat. Ball against him. Let the gods decide. Glendon Ball was brought out, beaten, broken from torture. He could barely stand. But when they gave him a lance, he took it, walked onto the field, and knocked Daemon off his horse, into the mud. One blow. A would-be king lying in the dirt. They called him the Brown Dragon. That is how rebellions end. Not in glory, in shame. And then came the man who had known everything from the start. Brynden Rivers, Bloodraven, Hand of the King. They said he had 1,000 eyes and one, an albino with a red eye and wine-colored stains on his face, a man everyone feared, and rightly so. His spies sat at every table in every castle. He knew what you were planning before you knew it yourself. Bloodraven's army surrounded Whitewalls, quietly, without warning. The conspiracy was crushed before it could become a rebellion. Daemon was captured, alive. Not out of mercy, out of calculation. A dead Daemon would become a martyr. His brother Aegon would raise a new banner. But a living Daemon, in a cage, was just a failure. No one dies for a man who was pulled from his horse.
Come to see a Fulton dragon?
No. I've seen enough dragons.
Then why?
I wanted to see the man who nearly destroyed a kingdom over a dream.
Dreams don't lie.
Men who interpret them do.
Have you come to tell me I'll hang?
No.
Then what?
You won't die.
Why?
Not because you don't deserve it. Because dead, you are more dangerous than alive.
You fear a martyr?
I'm afraid of what they'll turn you into after you're dead.
Years passed. Roads changed. People changed. But they stayed together. Egg grew from a shaved-head boy into a young man, silver hair grown out. No need to hide anymore. But inside, he remained the same Egg, the boy at the campfire who said he wanted to change the world. Dunk changed too. More scars, knees creaking in the mornings. But the sword sat just as steady in his hand, and beside Egg, he still felt like he belonged. The world around them changed harder. Egg's brothers fell one by one. Daron died in battle. Arion Brightflame, a madman, drank wildfire thinking he would become a dragon, died in agony. Maekar, Egg's father, killed fighting rebels. And Aemon, the eldest surviving brother, did what no one expected. He refused the throne, went to the wall, became a maester, because he did not want to be used against his younger brother. And so, the crown fell to a boy no one had expected to be king, Aegon V Targaryen. Aegon the Unlikely, they called him later, because he was the fourth son of a fourth son. The chance of him becoming king had been almost nothing, but he did. And the first thing he did was name Dunk to the Kingsguard, then Lord Commander. A hedge knight from Flea Bottom, leading the finest swords in the kingdom, because for Egg, there was no one he trusted more. Egg took the throne and began doing what he had talked about at the campfire 20 years before. He changed laws, protected peasants from the cruelty of lords, limited taxes, forbade abuse. The lords hated him for it. Every decree, a slap to the great houses. Who is he to tell us how to treat our people? A king who grew up as a hedge knight's squire, who ate from a camp pot on the roadside, who knew how common people lived because he had lived that way himself. That is exactly why they hated him, and exactly why the common folk loved him. Then, his own children started causing trouble. His eldest son, Duncan, named after Dunk, fell in love with a common girl, Jenny of Oldstones, a girl with no title, no land, no name, and refused the throne for her. Egg understood. He had once chosen the road with a hedge knight over a palace, but as a king, he could not approve. Duncan, Egg's son, was supposed to marry Lord Baratheon's daughter. The marriage was arranged, the alliance sealed, and when the prince refused, Lyonel Baratheon was furious. The Laughing Storm, they called him, declared the Stormlands independent. Rebellion. Egg could have sent an army, drowned Storm's End in blood, but he knew that was not the way, not his way. He sent Dunk. A duel, one-on-one. The Lord Commander of the Kingsguard against the Lord of the Stormlands. Dunk was past 50. The body no longer what it was at 20. Knees, back, a shoulder that ached every morning. But he put on the armor, took his sword, walked into the arena, and won. The way he always won, not because he was the strongest, but because he could not let Egg down. Lyonel knelt. The rebellion ended, without war. Egg pardoned the Baratheon, gave his daughter Rhaella in marriage to the Baratheon heir. Peace through forgiveness, not through blood. Dunk, Egg's shield, from the first day to the last. Egg had grown old, tired. The years on the throne had worn him down more than any road. The lords resisted every law, reform stalled, and with each passing year, Egg grew more stubborn, harder. He stopped listening to advisors, stopped compromising. The boy who once sat by a fire and dreamed of changing the world had become an old man who demanded the world change, at any cost. Without dragons, the Targaryens were just a family with pretty words. Fire and blood, but there was no fire. And Egg began thinking about dragons, first as a dream, then as a plan, then as the only way. Dunk saw it, saw the obsession growing, saw Egg disappearing into the library more and more often, reading old scrolls, speaking with pyromancers, saw that look in his eyes, dangerous, familiar, the Targaryen gleam, the very thing Egg had spent his whole life trying to be different from. Summerhall. The Targaryen summer palace in the Dornish mountains. Egg gathered his family, loved ones, friends. Rhaella, wife of his grandson Aerys, was heavy with child. A celebration. The birth of a great-grandchild. But Egg had not come only to celebrate. He had dragon eggs, 7 of them, and pyromancers with wildfire. Dunk knew, saw the barrels, saw the eggs arranged around the flames, saw Egg's eyes, not the eyes of an old king, the eyes of a boy at a campfire, obsessed, desperate, believing everything could change, if only he was brave enough. He tried to stop him, not once, not twice, told him, "This is madness, Egg. Wildfire is unpredictable. Pyromancers are charlatans. Dragons will not return because you burn a castle down." Egg snapped back, like in childhood, only reversed. Back then, Dunk spoke and Egg listened. Now Egg spoke and Dunk was supposed to listen. Because Egg was king, and Dunk, his guard. They argued. For the first time in their lives, truly argued. Loud, angry. Egg shouted, "You do not understand." Dunk shouted, "I understand better than you think." Then, silence. Like in childhood, after a fight by the campfire. Only now they were not 20 and 12. Now they were 70 and 60. Dunk walked over to him. 2 old men, a lifetime behind them. "Egg, don't do this." "I need dragons, Dunk. Without them, the lords will never listen. Common people will never be safe. This is dangerous. Everything we have ever done has been dangerous, from the very first day." Dunk looked at him, at the boy he had found at Ashford, at the shaved-head prince who sat by a fire and said he would change the world, at his friend, at his king, at his entire life. "I will be there," said Dunk, "like always." Egg smiled, that same smile, the smile of a 12-year-old boy. The ritual began. Wildfire ignited. The eggs sat in the flames. 7, 1 for each of the gods. And something went wrong. The fire broke free. Wildfire, greedy, unpredictable, spread across the hall. Walls caught, ceiling, curtains. Fire leapt into corridors, into rooms, into people. Summerhall burned. Screams, smoke, panic. People ran for the exits, but there were not enough. Dunk acted. He grabbed Rhaella, pregnant, terrified, and carried her through the fire. A 70-year-old man carrying a woman in his arms through a burning castle, through corridors where beams crashed down, through halls where stone melted. He got her out. She survived. And that night, in the smoke and ash and screaming, she gave birth to a boy, Rhaegar Targaryen, born in fire amid death. They said he came into the world with sadness in his eyes. Now we know why. Dunk set Rhaella down, made sure she was safe, looked at the burning Summerhall, and went back, inside, for Egg. Fire was everywhere, ceilings collapsing, heat so fierce, metal was melting. Nothing to breathe, nothing to see, only smoke and a red glow. Dunk found him. Egg lay on the floor, pinned beneath a fallen beam, old, helpless, but alive. Leave, Dunk. No. That is an order. You have been giving the orders my whole life, Egg, and I have never once listened. Dunk tried to lift the beam. His hands burned, his back cracked. The wood would not move. He pulled. The ceiling came down. Summerhall burned to nothing by morning. Black walls, melted towers, smoke rising to the sky and not stopping. Among the ruins, they found two, side by side, as always. They had walked together an entire lifetime, from a dusty road out of Ashford to the Iron Throne. Two men from different worlds. One who knew nothing except how to hold a sword and do the right thing. The other who could have had everything, but chose to stay beside the first. Not brothers by blood, brothers by soul, by the road, by life. They were born differently, lived differently, but died the same way, together, in fire, never apart. And maybe that is what it truly means to be a knight. Not swords, not armor, not tourneys, but a person for whom you would walk into the fire, knowing you will not come back.
Are you okay?
I don't know, I dreamed something strange. Like I was dying. An old man. Somewhere very far away. In the north. Completely alone.